Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Just the Good Stuff, where I show you only the good stuff from the vendor restocks this week. And I'm going to start today's episode off just a little bit differently. Before I get into the good items that are for sale, we are going to briefly discuss an incredible community resource that you may or may not know about and actively use. The First Wave Vendor Restock Spreadsheet is a spreadsheet that is updated by volunteers and contains all the data for the vendor restocks each week. I often refer to this spreadsheet while I do my Just the Good Stuff videos. The reason why I'm here shedding light on the spreadsheet now is because they are really in need of volunteers to actively update the spreadsheet. At this time, there's really only 2 people who update the sheet, and that does take roughly 2 hours of work just for 2 people. If you actively play the Division 1 and you would like to make contributions to the community, please find the link for the spreadsheet in the description of this video, or head over to the Division Community Discord server and just directly message the Isaac bot that's within that server. The more volunteers that there are updating the spreadsheet, the faster it can be updated for the entire community. I would also like to give a tribute to AWP IRL for his amazing contribution for this widely known and highly used community resource. Without you, my friend, a lot of us would be lost. But without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and get right into the good stuff this week. And as usual, we are going to be starting off inside the base of operations over here at the Dark Zone vendor. He's going to be selling a 261 firearms mod on 1% critical hit chance. So these mods are perfect to be using on your PvP builds where you need to rack up all the critical hit chance that you possibly can. The next mod that we're going to have for sale is over here at Camp Hudson. This vendor is going to have a 2% critical hit chance mod for the Pulse. Now we do see these quite frequently, like I usually mentioned, but they are still very reliable to have. We're going to head all the way up into the top right corner of the Dark Zone map in Dark Zone 9, East 64th Street. This vendor is going to be selling a 264 stamina mod on 3% skill haste. This will work very well with any of your hybrid builds. If you want something with stamina, that will give you a maxed out skill haste roll on a mod. The next vendor that we're going to head to is DZ East 40th Street in Dark Zone 3. This vendor is going to sell a maxed out 6% sticky bomb radius explosion mod. So the reason why these are so good is not only is it a maxed out percentage, but these are going to help with your flashbang sticky bombs to make sure that you affect more NPCs with the flash status effect. Now, while we are in Dark Zone 3, we are going to be heading over to the safe room, because this safe room has a pretty good lightweight M4 for sale this week, so I will meet you guys over there. Okay, we have made it to the DZ3 safe room. I think this one's going to be the cherry on top this week, other than that firearms critical hit chance mod, but this vendor does have a lightweight M4 for sale with brutal, deadly, and competent. These are really good talents to be utilizing on PvP builds. You could just replace brutal with whatever you want, really. You can do responsive, you could do unforgiving, you could do vicious. All of them are really good options, but considering deadly is almost always going to be unlocked with your builds and competent is on the bottom where you would normally need electronics, this one is a really good M4 to be picking up this week in lieu of a blueprint that we have not had for a couple weeks. Alright, we've made it here to Kerman Station, and this, I believe, was almost better than the M4 this week. This vendor is going to be selling a Omega rifle suppressor on max headshot damage 18.5%. We are missing out on the critical hit damage here, unfortunately. We have optimal range instead, but it does have critical hit chance. I'm actually going to be picking up a couple of these. I'll probably pick up 3 or 4 of them, just because it's pretty rare for us to get maxed out headshot damage mods, and these are perfect to be throwing on your damage to elite builds. Now, the last thing that we have to go over, as usual, is the blueprints. I unfortunately, as usual, again, can't show you exactly which ones are for sale just because I do own the majority of them already, but I will head over here to my crafting table and I'll tell you guys which ones are for sale again this week. So we do have the MG5 available inside the terminal again. I believe this is the 3rd week in a row we've had the MG5, so you have some more time to pick this up if you have not been able to afford the blueprint. And the next one that we have for sale is actually the Navy MP5N. This one is highlighted on the website as not recommended, but I personally kind of would recommend this blueprint. It's definitely not the best in slot SMG, that definitely goes to the house. You could even argue that the MP7 is a better SMG, but the Navy MP5 does have a strong base damage for an RPM trade-off. So I would still recommend picking up the Navy MP5N for example, your defense builds or anything where you're running, high end and you still haven't managed to get the house yet. I think this is a good blueprint to be picking up, and it is in the terminal as well, along with the MG5. The next weapon that I'm going to recommend that you pick up, it looks like we got really lucky and we got the LVOAC 204 gear score. blueprint available again. I believe this is the second week we've had it, which is very rare, and I would highly recommend picking this up because this is going to allow you to get the destructive and ferocious rolls on the top for your skill builds. So I would definitely pick these up if you have not gotten them just yet. And if we move over to the gear, we do have the electronics backpack available, the blueprint, but highly recommend picking this up so you can roll your inventive and your relentless backpacks. You won't have to depend on drops or the vendors to just sell them, because all of the backpacks for sale this week at the vendors are all pretty bad. So if you are still looking for an inventive or a relentless backpack, you are going to have to get the blueprint this week and start crafting them. Some honorable mentions for the gear are both the firearms and the electronic chest pieces are both for sale inside the terminal as well. You can craft these if you're looking for an example, or for example, a reckless chest piece or a vigorous chest piece with firearms for your PvP builds. The next thing we're going to get into are the weapon attachments. The red dot is available this week, which is really good. This is for critical hit damage. We also have the 552 hollow sight available this week for critical hit chance. I love the 552 hollow sight. I love how it looks, and it does give you critical hit chance, damage, and headshot if you can get the correct rolls. So I would definitely recommend picking up this blueprint. We also have the red small grip available. I think we've had this 3 weeks in a row, but it's a very reliable weapon attachment to get. So definitely pick it up if you don't have it. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Just the Good Stuff. Hopefully there's some stuff you guys will be picking up this week. And definitely, if you're interested in signing up to be a volunteer for the spreadsheet, I'm sure those guys would greatly appreciate any hands that are active and ready to help. So if you're interested, just go over to the community Discord for the division and directly message the Isaac bot. Or you can also click the link that's inside the welcome sheet of the Last Wave Division 1 vendor reset spreadsheet, which I'll be linking in the description of this video. I'll also be linking an invite to the community Discord server where you guys can join up and chat with other members within the Division community. That's all for now today, guys, though. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.